What up, guys?
Hey.
Hey.
We can sound a little more lively than that. Hey!
But why do we always have to say hey in the beginning?
Because that's how the Beatles put it, right?
Is that why?
Yeah. Speaking of the Beatles, we have somebody who's wearing a Beatles t-shirt with us
Yeah.
Yeah.
today. Yeah.
My fans.
So we have two
Guests
nice guests
with us today.
with us today.
Hi. Hi.
Say hi.
Hi, what's up?
One is an aspiring economist and the other one is God-level lawyer.
Yeah, aspiring God level.
Aspiring God-level lawyer. that is.
No.
Yeah.
Aspiring lawyer who is God.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This can be very confusing.
Also, I accommodate all religions.
Yeah.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah, man. Why don't you guys say something? It'll be-
I just had a question. Can we cuss?
no, you cannot
you
cuss.
can't.
Ah,
Yeah.
so anyway,
not
Okay.
that's
It's
the
not
Yeah.
imperative to your discussion.
look out for
Yeah.
those.
You know,
So that's
if
pretty
you
much
keep
the
doing
extent
that, what
of it.
he's playing, we continuously have beeps on it. So it'll
Yeah.
be
There's just
nice.
one time I just wanted to make
Yeah.
that joke.
That's okay, no problem.
It's not really a joke, is it?
You laughed.
That's a good point.
Had to.
but think about where that abuse comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
I mean,
it's,
why-
if it's
why-
not used so flippantly,
Yeah.
maybe it'll be of some use.
Yeah. Do you know what the word actually stands for?
Right. Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Then why
We're
don't you
old enough
enlighten?
to-
Yeah, why don't you
Yeah.
enlighten us?
Well, when male Homo sapien is attracted to a female Homo sapien,
I'm not talking about.
Okay.
or,
okay, let us hear this
or
out.
any
Let-
gender
let-
actually,
yeah,
can
yeah,
be
yeah.
another male Homo sapien or two female Homo sapiens or
Yeah.
any.
But did you know that this was anywhere remotely even close to a king and
No.
a village or something like that?
What he is so very poignantly pointing out, and this is something that you guys should know. The word that you just said is actually the short form of a four-word command. Yeah, it is.
It
Not
is.
joking.
It
stands for?
It stands for fornicating under the command of the king.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Let's
is the
get a
fact of
record
the
for
day.
Let's get a call for that.
So yeah, that is the etymology of the name of the word, where it comes from.
Yeah.
And it's good that you know that.
And thankfully, it is not
Yeah.
anything related to.
The
No, I mean, it is.
Homo sapiens or any other
Male Homo
species.
sapiens and female.
But
Homo
then,
sapiens.
are 18 years supposed to know this?
18-year-olds.
I
I
think,
think even-
everyone
yeah.
upwards of puberty should be knowing
Yes,
this.
absolutely.
Like, but do they know this?
But they should.
Or
They
am I just
don't.
sounding dumb?
No, I don't think most people wouldn't know this because, I think that it's not common knowledge. Yeah. But now that you know, and that you are a god-level lawyer aspiring,
Yes.
conditions apply. You should know this. So that it'll be a cool joke that you can crack in your new college.
Yes, people
Yeah.
would know.
You idiots.
You could actually feel like God.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do that already. But
Okay, getting back to the point.
Yeah. Okay.
Using cuss words like those flippantly.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
not.
Yes. Let's get down to what we really
See,
want
anyway,
to talk
cussing
about.
is not like a great thing to do, man. I mean, it's okay. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
But but not like that. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm trying to give them something so that they can.
Yeah. Okay, so we've heard enough from the aspiring lawyer. Let's hear something from the aspiring economist.
Yes.
The aspiring economist is busy playing the strings,
Yeah. but-
just discovering something brand new, and he's playing the F chord. So
nice. That's a good introduction.
That's a good one.
There's a lot of things happening with F today, isn't it?
I think that was
Funny
the
you
point of
noticed
the
that.
show.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys plan to do, like ahead of, like from now? What are you guys doing now? What do you guys plan to do? You've just given your 12th grade
Right.
boards,
Yeah.
and
Boards. Boards is a scam for anyone listening who's under the age of 18.
Okay.
CBSE is a whole scam.
oh,
Yes.
okay,
It's not
You
just
can
boards.
work hard for 2 years
Yeah.
and then fail. So better you don't work at all.
Oh.
because you're going to fail anyway. Did you guys fail or what?
We didn't fail,
Yes.
but like
We did.
if you want to go to Delhi University, you need 96%,
Yeah.
which is improbable even if you work hard because board checkers aren't very skilled at checking.
Then how do
come on,
people
how-
get to that point then? Like if Delhi
I mean,
was-
a lot of it depends on luck also. So
but
some,
are there people who hit that 99,
yeah,
98%?
they do.
Definitely.
And
But
they're not
they're
necessarily the smartest in the
Yeah,
world. Is that what you're
yeah.
saying?
There's
Is
some
that-
very.
Some of them are not, some of them are.
Okay.
That's the
Yeah.
thing, it's highly unpredictable, so we don't really know what goes behind the
But
examination.
there's so many things you really can't say that CBSE at large is at fault.
I mean, there is one child we know who can barely speak even a sentence in English, and he got a 98.
Yeah, but
That's,
English I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, other things there can be like if there's a question in which two people get it wrong, two people identify the question incorrectly. One person may write the perfect answer for that two of them can write the perfect answer for that incorrect identification. One of them can get like out of 5, 4 because he wrote a good answer. One can get 0 because he didn't identify it correctly. So it all depends on the checker
Mm.
to that extent.
When
But what
we
do you-
used to give boards, we used to be told, just hope and
Pray and
that
just
your
fingers
invigilator
crossed,
is
go-
not fighting with his wife.
Yeah. Or his cup of tea has not run out
Yeah.
and nobody's bringing him his cup of tea.
Yeah.
I mean, we're laughing about it right now, but this is quite it's a disconcerting issue. Like to
I mean-
leave your fate in the hands of people
But okay,
who
let's
are
not.
not.
I'm sorry. Let's not get into this thing right now with CBSE. I'm saying in school.
Yeah,
in-
yeah, yeah.
In school, general school learning. I mean, how was your experience in school? Because in today's time, we see that the school's experience, the kids who are experiencing school is
Yeah.
completely different from what we used to.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
like things have changed drastically.
And the curriculum, did you find anything
Yeah.
missing in your curriculum? I mean, in totality, I don't mean academics only.
One thing I feel is like other life aspects, maybe like sex education. That's not there. So
what do you mean it's
I
not
don't-
there?
See, in 11th and 12th, we had commerce.
Yeah.
So there's nothing remotely about sex education in our stream.
Not even in like your but in 11th and 12th you don't have subjects like moral science or
No, I don't know about psychology. Maybe there's
But you
a
have
chapter
multiple
about.
counseling sessions, right?
Well,
Which you're
there's
supposed
nothing.
to
There's
have.
not much going on there. Not at least not.
They're not that productive. They're not that productive in terms of sex education specifically. There are other things we explore.
Is it not productive or is it just non-existent?
I don't know. It depends on the teacher taking
Yeah.
it, the class, all
Because
these
we
factors.
don't have a particular counselor as such.
Yeah.
It's just the class teacher taking the classes, talking about something, which is.
I don't know.
Have you-
Even if
have you
we.
ever come across a teacher or a counselor ever mentioning sex?
No.
Never.
I mean, 8th
Biology
grade bio
teachers.
and 10th
Yes.
grade bio, there was this one chapter about
But
human
But
they
they
have
use
reproduction.
words like reproduction and all
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
not sex.
No. There was
Wow.
this. Yeah, even like in the name of sex education, there's this one paragraph or one line.
wow.
I'm frankly not very surprised because neither did we when we were in school.
Yeah.
No, but I think since we were in school times, I at least thought the times had changed. Like there would be
They've
more.
changed.
Yeah.
Probably
Have
changed.
Again,
but the
probably-
education system hasn't changed.
No, but still, like dissemination of this kind of information.
Even started. That's the
Yeah,
question.
that's
I
that's
don't
the
No,
thing.
I-
I'm sure the kids have caught on to it faster.
Yeah, but that's social media and other like
but not in
internet.
school specifically.
Yeah.
And it varies from school to school. That's the thing.
Right.
There are some schools who have included it,
Yeah.
but then most of them, I don't think they have.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's a topic which requires not just a curriculum but also an instructor who
Yeah.
is equally comfortable
Or equipped.
or equipped to talk about that
Discuss
with
these
young minds, like people who are obviously like the number of questions popping up in your head is quite a lot. Like you'll have your question. There was no one, like not even a counselor.
And we come from a private school.
Right.
Oh wow, yeah, you would expect
Yeah.
that it
You
would have.
Yeah, expect as in if there's like if that's the level of awareness in a private school, think about the government schools.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
much
It's
worse.
pretty
Of
bad.
course.
I mean,
It's much
because
worse.
usually that's not a part of that's not the agenda.
Yeah.
They're,
That's
they're
not part of the
struggling.
agenda
They're
at all.
struggling with a
Yeah.
whole
So
other bunch of
they have,
things
there
which
are
you don't
many
want
other
to get into.
issues to address
Yeah.
before they come to this topic. Maybe
Yeah.
they will in future, but we don't know. But
Yeah.
They barely have good enough
yeah,
bathrooms.
There's
to
so
be
many
honest,
other
there's
issues.
another.
But then we
there's
can't
another
ignore
gamut of
this
problems.
because
No,
there are
that's
other
what I'm a
issues
little shocked about because
No, but
when
okay, Anurag.
sorry.
The thing is, I think it's common
Yeah.
that there isn't any talk about it anyway, and it's going to keep happening this way since home is one place where I
Yeah.
feel a lot of knowledge gets transmitted without making a big deal about it.
Yeah.
And it's a complete no-no at our homes too. Even
Yeah.
though we have very, very open-minded parents,
Progressive
and,
parents.
It's a-
yeah.
I think in the name of sanskar they don't give a lot of knowledge about all
But what
this.
is so non-sanskari about
I
sex?
don't know
That's-
because
It's just-
Hinduism, like there's a book called Kama Sutra.
Yeah,
They made in
exactly.
the Hindustan,
Yeah.
but that's not considered in the sanskar.
There's a
Similarly,
monument in
Orcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Khajuraho.
also other things like homosexuality. Ram, the god Ram,
Yeah.
used to say that homosexuals are my children. He used to say that.
Yeah.
But still now, it's according to some conservatives, it's wrong to be homosexual.
It's unnatural.
Yeah, even though that was a law which was brought in by the British.
Speaking of Lord Ram, you've met him.
Have you?
You would have sat in his
He's actually
company.
sitting right in front of me.
Oh man. Okay, coming back to that was actually really funny.
No, yeah,
He
so
walked into that.
I was trying to talk about
Yeah.
the home front,
Yeah.
where it can be so easy to get through to your own kids and
Absolutely.
speak to them about sex and make it a non-issue.
Yeah. But even when we were growing up, it was never talked about at my house.
Yeah,
never.
I think
Like,
in
it was
my
not
house
even
it's not talked about even
at
now.
all. Yeah. Even though there are children in the house, that means somebody's been getting it on. But
Yeah.
yeah, like there's still no conversation around it.
I
It's
think
just,
that-
I
Hey,
remember.
Nor-
I'm sorry. I faintly remember my mom handing me a book from the Reader's Digest or something,
huh.
which had details about reproduction
Yeah.
in all kinds of mammals and things like that, and then slowly transiting
To humans.
towards human beings.
Yeah.
Okay, so I remember some kind of orientation at some point,
Yeah.
and after that, well, I guess she figured that smart enough. She's figured it out.
I
So
feel-
we didn't really need to have a discussion, but yeah, that channel was open for me at home.
Yeah.
But I didn't see that happening for most of my friend circle.
Yeah. I think all of my friends circle. Yeah.
Then the problem gets into what your source becomes,
Yeah.
and that's messed up.
Yeah.
Also,
What about you guys? Like, is there conversation at home about these things?
Not
like
really. I
addressing
feel
it?
parents in general don't feel comfortable talking
Yeah.
about this.
And
Not only in India,
I
but
mean, even kids
rest
feel
of the world.
uncomfortable.
Yeah,
right?
if
Imagine
they
if
have
your
their own
folks,
parents.
yeah,
Exactly.
if your folks did, like I was very embarrassed the time my mom, she just flashed me with a condom and she's like, "This is what a condom looks like. This is how it's used, and this must be done." Okay, and that was just
I get
her
it, yeah.
being careful with
Yeah.
me, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
But it's also I
So,
feel
and I was embarrassed.
yeah.
And I was embarrassed.
I feel
What are you doing?
What are you
Mom?
doing?
Stop.
Yeah. Be cool.
But like I feel if it's I think children will be more comfortable if they're talking to someone else other than their parents.
Other than the parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always that's
Whichever.
what
And that's why,
happened also.
Whatever
yeah,
works,
that's
whatever
why
works.
it was in my mind that maybe in schools
Yeah.
it was now an issue, because when we were in school, that was the time when the mobile phone generation was just coming up, and then something happened which became a very, very widespread issue, which was an MMS. Do you guys know what an MMS is?
Yeah.
No, I don't think
Oh,
they-
you wouldn't
You
know
don't know
about
what MMS is it?
No, it's like message.
Yeah, it's a multimedia
Multimedia.
message.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, a multimedia message, and a phone had been launched at that time called the Nokia 6600. The first phone which could record video, a shoddy video, very ugly video, but still video.
3GP, right?
3GPP was the format, but yeah. So there was a scandal which happened where this boy from one of the schools here in Delhi had recorded his girlfriend giving him a blowjob. And then that video was circulated everywhere.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It was horrible.
It
Like
was
the girl had to go off to
miserable.
Canada.
Abroad,
She just left the country and she had to stay there. This boy had to stay in Nepal for the longest time. Although he was at fault, he shouldn't have circulated it like that. But it became a very big issue. Every news channel was talking about it. Every magazine was
it was
printing news
gross.
about it. And I felt really bad about the entire situation because according to our ethics, we know that even if you do something like that, you're not supposed to circulate it. But
Yeah.
it seemed like not many people were agreeing with me on this point. My batchmates,
It just became something to see
Yeah.
and inform 3 more people about.
Yeah. Here, take it on your phone through the Bluetooth, and it just became that girl's, and the guy's face is not in the video,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so nobody knew who the guy was. But this girl's face became absolutely everywhere. Everyone knew whose daughter she was, where she was staying,
All that.
where she was moving, what is
Yeah,
happening
it
to
was
her.
really
So it was at that time that this conversation began that we need to talk. We need to really talk about this. We need to, because our kids are indulging in this, and tomorrow it'll be something which will become a big issue.
See, not just for safety reasons. I mean, if I,
Yeah.
my point in this whole situation would be that not just for safety reasons in terms of media and whatever.
Yeah.
I think that it is made such a pseudo topic
Yeah.
to even discuss or talk about that all of us shy away from it.
Yeah.
Whereas it's a natural process, like you walk, like you talk,
Yeah.
like you're doing anything else in a daily this thing.
Hmm.
It's a part of life, and that's what gives life.
Yeah.
I think it can be taken in a very positive way and made just be normal and not
A taboo topic.
taboo
like
and
Yeah.
not something that you should not talk about in public.
Yeah,
and should
because
not talk about.
once it's a taboo, then people want to know more, and in the wrong
Yeah.
ways,
In
and
the
they want to
wrong-
hide it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
So
more
you'll
dangerous.
hide from somebody
Yeah.
and want to know exactly,
Yeah.
It's more dangerous.
which is going to create more issues where
Yeah.
you don't get the absolute education of the entire thing
Yeah.
and you end up doing something wrong
Yeah.
like this
Yeah.
or anything else. Like
Yeah.
it is possible.
That's
It is
it.
possible.
It's not just
Coming-
possible. It happened.
Yeah.
All of these things are happening.
Coming
Like,
back to the video, I don't think that's a topic of sex education. That's just generally one should know
See,
in the era of internet
yeah,
what's
yeah.
appropriate
and
to
what's
Yeah.
not appropriate.
send, what's not.
Yeah, but it was,
No, but-
it opened a can of worms where people all of a sudden were talking about sex so openly
Right.
and yet in a very negative connotation.
Yeah, that was so
Like it's
bad.
not something which is
Like,
natural,
oh my
like
God,
it's going
they're
to
in
happen.
school and they're
Yeah,
doing this.
They're doing this.
It's
How
a
can it be?
girl
How
and
can this be? It opened a conversation which was very strange because I was maybe one of those people who thought that this happens, man. Like people do find these moments with their partners or people that they're chilling with. Maybe they were just bored and they did something like this. But
There's-
at least
there should be no judgment
Yeah,
regarding that.
there should
the
be a
unfortunate part
conversation.
is that it starts looking really
And we are those who judge where our grandparents
yeah.
or their parents got married at a very young age
Yeah.
and had kids from a very young age.
Yeah, yeah.
So consented sex is fine. Once you're
Yeah.
married, you're getting the certificate that you can have sex.
Yeah.
Although that's not very healthy.
That's not very healthy at all.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So my grandmother was married at the age of 13.
Yeah.
To my
14.
grandfather,
grandmother
yeah.
was
To
14.
my grandfather who was at that time 17.
Yeah.
Basically, you guys.
Yeah.
So it was strange. But that's the thing, no? Every time we talk about this, we start thinking about how culture has been in our country.
But then
around
that's
this.
just evolution. That's how society changes.
But
I don't-
aren't we taking a couple of steps back here then in evolution? Because we have come from that
Yeah,
place
right.
and now we are taking a
Yeah.
couple of steps
Yeah,
back
we're
in that
going
direction.
back, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at that moment, the entire thing was that so that you don't stray around and you do other things. So let's just make a couple
Yeah.
in an early age. Whatever the
Yeah.
thought process was. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
trying to give
yeah,
it some positive.
Again,
this thing.
strangely, that is actually
That
why it
is-
happened.
That is actually why it
Yeah.
happened, and also why they had inter-family marriages was because they didn't know people outside, so they
Yeah.
didn't want to take the risk of doing it. That's why they started doing it.
Yeah.
That's very
That-
messed up.
It is messed up, and it calls out for a lot of issues and problems in later life. Because if you're whatever inter-family and all, if you're doing that stuff,
Yeah.
it's not going to help
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
But coming off of that, the entire thing was that if you go further
Yeah.
to the to the time of 1950, 1900 AD,
Yeah.
these people built an entire monument.
Yeah.
On sex. I
Yeah.
mean, different positions and
Yeah.
whatnot, and all the other things. Basically, I feel that at that moment, probably people will just taking it as a normal thing in a daily life,
it
like
was-
washing clothes, whatever, doing whatever. They're doing.
Yeah.
And I think Vatsayana, that's the
Vatsyaya. Yeah.
he's the one who
Yeah.
wrote it. I think his intent was to bring out that part of life where you're fulfilling your soul.
Yeah.
It's a big part of the Kama Sutra.
Yeah.
It's not just the act or just the positions or just the
Yeah.
photos of the positions.
Yeah. But then the conversation around it nowadays has become so, I don't know, it's biased, it's politicized, it's a lot of things at the same time. Like I think it was last year, the year before last, where the idea of pornography also became something of a huge debate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I remember one instance where an MLA of this of Karnataka was sitting in the assembly
and
watching porn on his phone.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on. To be honest, I'm a fan. I like porn. Like, it's good. Like, it should be there for when you want to see something which you probably are not
Yeah,
able
it's
to.
normal. Like,
Yeah,
that-
it's
that
normal.
shouldn't
Like,
be
it's fine.
Well,
But then,
Ambani just shut it down.
yeah, that's the thing. So now the ban is there, and now people are finding ways to surpass,
around it.
get around it, and they always do that because in our country we have a huge preference for this, of
Think
course,
we need to
amongst a
edit
lot of
this.
people.
No, we won't.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what I mean, I want to know because since you guys are coming from again, like in my mind, I had the idea that the conversation around this topic had changed in schools and at home, but it doesn't
Maybe
seem
the
like
thing
it.
is, now more families are open to it,
Yeah.
but there are still families, like our very own families, and majority of them
Yeah.
that don't openly talk about it,
Okay.
especially
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah.
Right.
So even if they need a third person, like a person who's an expert,
Yeah.
to tell them about
Yeah.
sex education, then I guess that's something that the children or just people of our age
Yeah.
actually need at this point.
Yeah.
They don't want someone who they know
Yeah.
explaining it to them,
Right.
because
Yeah.
the society has created such an image that they get embarrassed.
Right.
But there
Yeah,
is
you're
this
right.
one
Yeah.
point. I mean,
So-
I'm thinking from the other point of view. America, I don't know the stats and all, but
Okay.
America does have sex education.
Yes, they do.
But if you look at the numbers, maybe
Yeah.
I'm not.
No,
sure.
it is true.
There
It
are
is
a lot of
That
kids who are just
the-
suffering from
no, but
teenage
there are
pregnancy.
there are more cases of teenage pregnancies in America than
Yeah.
India. There must
Yeah.
be a reason for that as well. Maybe they started sex education when that became an epidemic, but it's still continuing.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
I can't.
See, I
really
think-
can't comment on this so
Because-
much because
I don't know if I can
We don't
comment on
know
it, but at
the
the same time, in
reasons.
India, a lot of things, I don't know, in America, their way of reporting data is very good.
Right.
They do document a lot of things very well, and since their medical programs have a very good insurance policy, so if there is a teenage pregnancy happening anywhere in the country, the information goes to a central database. That's why they're able to report it. But in our country, there is so much in the unorganized sector which we will never get information about. It's very difficult to say whether we are suffering through the epidemic now or we have been suffering from it for a long time.
But if I just talk about the urban areas, because
Yeah.
the rural areas there may be a possibility that there
Yeah.
are teenage
Of course.
pregnancies, because
Yeah.
It's happening
there
all the time.
Yeah.
there also child marriage is also prevalent.
It's still
not,
commonplace.
happening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
commonplace.
in the rural, but I'm talking about the urban areas,
Yeah.
because I don't think in the urban areas there may be cases obviously, but
Yeah.
there won't be so many cases.
Of course, I think,
as
yeah,
in
the United
some,
States.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean they have the highest rate of teen pregnancy in the world right now. So, and it has been like that for a while.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah. So yeah, so coming
that's
back,
also again that's because they report everything.
Yeah.
Here you don't report everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
also you don't know if it is
Yeah,
really happening
like,
or not. Like half
when
of the
I-
time the rapes are not reported
Yeah.
here.
I'm
Also.
not
Yeah.
talking about
Just saying.
that,
Yeah.
but
Like even teenage pregnancy for that matter.
Yeah.
like when I got into college is when I figured out how many abortions happen
Yeah.
off and on every other month,
Yeah,
and it's
and it's so much
Horrifying,
so,
yeah.
so much
I mean,
so
it's-
that
I don't know, it's a little shocking to begin with, and then you feel like, okay, maybe this is normal, this is what everyone is doing. just hit by that all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
You're just doing it wrong. You're basically.
And now I feel like from me hearing about that in college, it's going to turn into kids hearing about it when they get into the 11th and 12th grade.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that's what's going to
But
happen.
can there be like there is a difference in coming back to the US and India.
Yeah.
The age limit for sex in India is 18,
Yeah.
while in US, which is scientifically it should be that age, is 16.
Yeah.
Because 16 years is supposed to be the most active reproductively till about 22.
Okay.
That's what I know.
Okay.
And I don't know, in India they get frustrated at 18 or
I think everything are surrounding. So everything surrounding children growing up nowadays has a very suggestive nature to it. You look at mainstream cinema, you look at news channels, you look at any other thing which people are really subscribing to. Everything is very, very suggestive in nature. And that frustration that you're talking about, I think since younger people are exposed to this at a very, very young age, over a period of time when they start to think that, oh, maybe I can do this also, or maybe we could do that also, or this or that. I mean, the mind just keeps thinking about these theoretical possibilities which never really come to fruition. And by the age of 18, maybe that frustration has reached a level which is just, it's having a strong bearing on their judgment.
I think that
So-
also has to do with, again, no sex education. No
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about,
very, very big.
No
very,
talk
very big.
about how you grow up at
Yeah.
puberty and how you explore your own body.
Yeah.
Right?
Very big
Most
thing.
people are
And
so
it's just
unaware.
sad that in today's world, many people are knowing about sex education through the show on Netflix called Sex Education.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, no?
Well,
That-
Yeah.
that's just now, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just now.
That's just now. That's just very recent.
But-
But
Yeah, at least there's something.
Yeah.
I mean,
no,
it's
there are
a
people.
No,
who are
but it's
otherwise
not
also
good.
Working. Like there are
There are
parents,
people working,
Yeah.
but
people working for
but
then
people
there
don't
are-
get that much of an exposure.
Yeah.
But these
to
guys
get
are
some-
actually doing the groundwork. Like
Yeah.
the people who are actually working on sex education today are doing the groundwork.
Yeah.
They're going to schools. They're going and meeting students and talking about it and telling them about
But
this.
clearly, it's not enough. Like we
It's
said.
not enough at all because
Yeah.
it has to start from home.
Because
Yeah.
if you
It's
make
simple.
taboos around it
Yeah.
and don't allow your own kids
Yeah.
to, I don't know,
You know, a kid
understand what their
for
body
any kid,
is,
Yeah.
I think it prevents a lot of violence or
course,
abuse
of course.
later on in life as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because you understand what your body needs, what it doesn't need, what
Yeah.
it wants, what it doesn't want, what it likes, what it dislikes.
Yeah.
And if you don't know by yourself, you'll never know what to accept or
Yeah.
decline.
Yeah, of course.
True. I agree.
So,
So, yeah. This talk about this show, all of a sudden I get this memory from this film that I had seen once. It's called Cable Guy. Have you guys heard of this film?
Jim
Cable
Carrey?
Guy? Jim
Oh,
Carrey,
Jim
yeah.
Carrey.
Yeah.
So at the end of the film, Jim Carrey is a disturbed cable guy. Okay, the film is a dark humor,
Yeah.
but he's a disturbed cable guy who, at the end of the film, is confessing to the guy who he has been torturing that he had such a lonely childhood that he learned the facts of life, the important values of life, by watching this show on television called The Facts of Life. Okay. And that's why he always thought that, okay, this is how it's supposed to be, but it's not happening this way. So I have to make sure that that person has to like me. So when you equate that same thing to something which is as sensitive as this, so how would people learn about the idea of sexual intercourse or the idea of sex? Of course, they're going to watch things on the internet or on TV, which gives them that idea.
But the idea
Yeah.
which they're getting
Yeah.
right now is also absolutely wrong.
It's wrong. So like when in pornography, when people watch pornography, people with lesser minds, people who do not have a high analytical ability, will obviously after a point start to think that this is exactly what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
This is pleasure.
This is pleasure. Whether it is pain, whether it is anything else that you can think of, they would
any
start
kind of
associating with that.
Which will lead to domestic violence.
Domestic violence, rapes, molestation in public, eve teasing, God knows what else. And-
Whereas
But then-
consented honest sex is
Yeah.
completely different from what you see in
Yeah.
pornography.
But
Yeah.
then also, I don't know, but maybe if someone is not getting access to pornography and he or she wants to like experience it,
yeah.
maybe their way of experiencing it will be something like raping someone or
Could be. Definitely,
Yeah,
it
that'll
could
be
be.
a-
It's a far-fetched idea.
No,
but
it's not a far-fetched idea.
No,
It's
that's
very
why-
possible.
That's what ends
It's
up
very,
happening
Yeah,
when you
it's
don't have
just a
orientation.
basic frustration.
Yeah, that somewhere somebody picked up that conversation. They may not have visualized. They wouldn't have seen it. But just in their mind, they would have heard it and how it works, and they would have created. So some things that people really have to keep in mind is that the act of sex is a very personal experience. So
Yeah.
it is not
Also very intimate.
it's very intimate. So for everyone, it is a very individual experience. So whatever you see as an interpretation by someone else does not have to be your interpretation of the
Cannot
same thing.
be.
Cannot be. Will not be. The second, another very important thing which we are having this conversation before is the use of protection. Protection is very, very important, and I don't know why in your schools they are not talking about this more, because it's not as if it's an epidemic. We have reached a point in our country where there is no more space for people.
Exactly.
Not
So-
only children, also STDs. You
Yeah,
have to-
yeah, and that is like the protection bit is very, very important, and it cannot just be a chapter in a textbook. It has to be something
Not
which
even
you
a chapter, a line.
a line in a
chapter.
textbook. Imagine. It has to be more. It has to be talked about. It has to be like, what are the ads on the television that you are seeing, and like things like that.
Fine,
This is crazy.
that's messed up. Even
That's
more messed
crazy.
up because every time there's an ad of what Durex or whatever else, everyone's just looking at the ceiling.
But also
looking
Indian,
below.
Indian, the
Just
Indian
that
government.
much.
Yeah.
Forget that much, just kissing scenes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Normal
Also-
kissing
Yeah.
scenes.
The
on
Indian
the
government
television.
actually put an act in which condom ads have to be displayed after 10 so that children don't get to see it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Smart.
so
Yeah.
That's really smart.
Yeah.
When did that come out?
No, this
I
was-
don't.
this
It
happened
came
in the
out,
last
but
year or something like
but
that.
then
What
I
happened?
I think they. I don't think it's implemented now because nowadays you see Durex ads. during
Yeah,
the-
But
Throughout
also, it's
the
not
day.
like those condom commercials are doing anything to help
Yeah,
kids
yeah.
understand,
In fact,
you know,
Yeah, but then
promoting it in a
people.
very
in a strange manner.
Yeah.
Like this,
Like that-
like you're in
that-
the situation now.
Yeah.
Now-
Like that,
Which one?
that Bengali, that Durga Puja time.
Oh yeah. And that's not even an ad for a condom.
Oh,
That's an ad for a deodorant. This woman is like, she's dressed up in the typical white
traditional
Bengali sari,
Bengali attire.
getting ready for that final day of Durga Puja when people just throw vermilion powder on each other. And then there's this dude who just sprays himself with, I don't even remember which brand of the deodorant it was. And then she just forgets everything.
Yeah.
And by the time she gets out of his room, everything is over.
yeah.
And then I thought that this might be a condom ad, but it wasn't.
This is how they
It was for a
promoting sex.
deodorant.
Yeah.
This is how they're promoting sex,
Yeah.
which is so ridiculous.
Also, I don't know, but protection for homosexuals as well.
Yeah,
People
of
don't know
course.
about that.
Yeah,
they
people
think
frown on it very,
because
very
we
badly.
had done an MEN conference on homosexuality,
Yeah.
and like one thing I noticed, a lot of people who were present there,
Ah.
they did not know that homosexuals need protection. They thought because that's the only reason that's there is to stop pregnancy, not considering STDs, obviously, which is very important.
Very, very important. And in homosexuality, I think people who are indulging in it or are of that orientation, they are more, prone
That-
to
yeah.
transmitting that.
Prone in the sense that they
No.
might have multiple partners.
No,
Yeah.
they are.
They are prone to it more. That's why the AIDS epidemic in the United States happened in the 1980s, because people were not using protection, and people who were gays, or I don't think it happens in lesbians so much, but people who are
it would.
or
Of
would
course
it?
it would. Of course
I
it
don't
would.
know. I mean, we are
I
not
guess
that
if
informed.
you're exchanging
Fluids, bodily fluids.
at,
Of course.
at any
Yeah.
point with anybody,
With anybody,
so
be
I
homosexual
don't
or
think-
not.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Be homosexual or not.
Yeah, but the conversation about using protection for not just, like you
Yeah.
said, not just family planning, but also protection against very, very dangerous diseases is very, very important. Until we have that conversation, yeah.
And maybe like not only condoms, there are like other ways of protection. So maybe because like there's this taboo, I don't know in urban areas, but in rural areas definitely there, about vasectomies.
Yeah,
That people will lose their masculinity after they.
yeah. If they cannot
If they-
impregnate a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, but it is.
For
these
that
are
matter, like a lot of men don't like to use condoms
Yeah,
because they
that
think
is
it's
also there.
beneath them.
Yeah.
That's
Or
what
the-
happens.
Yeah.
It is a sign of their virility.
Also, condoms
like,
aren't 100% safe.
Yeah.
There is always a possibility.
96%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
Again, still
4%.
96% is
Yeah,
a
but
is
something-
good.
Yeah,
Better
exactly.
than no
No,
percent.
no
yeah, I
percent,
know, but
yeah,
4% is still a lot for something so
But at
major.
least you
Yeah.
protect
Maybe.
yourself from rubbish diseases.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least it'll
Yeah.
You can
protect
live
you from
healthy.
that.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but it's good that we had this conversation. I mean, it was very important
Yeah.
for us also because we have this conversation all the time in different forms. But to have a diverse age group of people sit and talk about this, it's very important. But somebody has just been playing the guitar throughout the thing and hasn't.
No, I think
said
I think he's listening very
Yeah.
intently.
Yeah.
He's gathering
Well,
his thoughts.
nice.
But it's important to find out how we can find a fix for this.
Yeah.
Maybe encourage the parents to be a little more.
No, but like he said, no, maybe it's not the parents. Maybe it's somebody
No, then
who's not.
I feel like maybe that's some kind of trauma which the kids will also start
Yeah.
getting
That's
over.
something which
Yeah.
is to be worked
You
on.
know?
It's not something which is acceptable, like being
Yeah.
awkward
Yeah.
when your parents are telling you
Right.
about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Maybe kids will start getting over that.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
I mean, it'll probably be
Maybe
awkward
it'll
now,
help.
but not tomorrow.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That'll
Become
help.
normal.
But if we try to make an effort
Right.
to
Effort
actually
Maybe
have this
if we can all
conversation,
sit
yeah.
together and watch a Hollywood movie and see a regular sex scene with our
Yeah.
parents without feeling awkward,
And
that'll be
the
a start.
censor board
Yeah.
cutting it.
Yeah, or the
Whereas
censor
in
board cutting
CBFC is
it.
continuously cutting off all the
No,
scenes.
not
Even
now.
the kissing
The-
scenes. No, they are.
They are, but earlier times were way worse.
It was
when-
better.
when
It
last
was
That day I went
honestly,
to
it was
watch
better before.
Godzilla in the theater. There's this one scene where the husband and the wife they meet after a very long time. Very like he has been in the forest, she has been doing her research. They meet and there is a kiss that they exchange, and then you're waiting for it to happen. They're coming close, fade, screen goes to dark, and then all of a sudden you're in another scene.
And
Like
Same
it's
happened in Queen.
What are you hiding? Like
happened-
we know.
Exactly. We don't know what's happening. Maybe they're playing tennis.
Yeah. It's so funny.
Same
I
happened
guess,
in Queen. The
Yeah.
a major portion of the movie in
Yeah.
which how Freddie Mercury actually gets AIDS
Yeah.
is just cut
It's
out.
cut out. It's cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
How are you
So-
supposed to follow the film then?
You're just supposed to get it, man. Just get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Suggestive.
Just get it.
Flowers.
Even if you
Smart.
don't get it,
Indians are smart enough.
get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They see flowers
Yeah.
hitting each other and
Yeah, Comedy Central.
Comedy Central quickies.
it's happening. Yeah.
No, but then that's
It's so
ridiculous,
funny.
man.
Those two flowers, they give off pollen
Yeah.
when it's done all of a sudden.
I think everybody should not be afraid of talking about sex.
Yeah,
because
yeah, for
A,
sure,
It is a
for
normal
sure.
thing. It's a
Yeah.
natural process. That's how we all are here,
Yeah.
and that's how more of us will be here.
Yeah.
And it's almost equal to doing anything that you do
Yeah.
in the day.
Yeah.
And it's good to talk about it.
Yeah.
You'll probably gather more knowledge again. If you don't know about something, go speak to somebody and
Yeah,
gather
yeah.
your
It's
knowledge.
good to explore your
Talk to
body.
people that
It's
you
good
trust.
to understand what your body is made of
Yeah.
and what it's not.
Yeah. What it can take and what
Yeah.
it can't take. It's
Yeah.
very, very important.
Know
to
all
that.
of it before you get involved.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
and then
Remember this when you guys go to college, okay? Yeah, but I'm sitting next to God, of course he'll remember.
Yes. Well, I hope that this message reaches to
Yeah, even I
all
hope so.
youngsters and
Yeah.
their parents. If
And we quite literally just raised the question because we
Yeah.
don't have a solution.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice if
Somebody can come up
yeah.
with a scalable solution
yeah.
for this so that this country doesn't have to be ashamed of one of the
maybe
most
start orienting
natural-
schools.
Yeah,
Maybe a bunch of
maybe.
young people just taking workshops at different schools,
Yeah, yeah.
speaking to children
Can I-
or
Orienting
honestly say
schools,
something on
but
this. That's why. So this is already happening. Can I say that my suggestion in this would be not to go to the schools,
Yeah.
but go have workshops and things with the parents. Make them sit and explain it to them that you speak to your
But
kids
then-
now.
I have a feeling this has already happened.
yeah.
And it hasn't gone down well because I remember something like this happening in my school.
Some backward people.
Yeah, and it just didn't fly well with the parents at all.
Yeah.
It just didn't.
schools
like, it's
also
not
there is
something- it's-
Probably ought to
schools
make more
of it.
teachers, like if they see a boy and girl walking around together,
Yeah.
they'll try to separate them.
Yeah, yeah.
If they're
yeah.
holding out, they call them and say, "Don't do this."
Yeah.
Then there was this one incident in our school. There was this girl and boy, they were kissing,
Yeah.
and the vice principal saw it, and the boy was suspended.
That's just stupid.
Yeah.
No, it's just
That's-
stupid. Like,
that's true.
this is a point.
Even though there have been instances in which kids are smoking in our school and then
There haven't
no
been
action
so-
has been taken against them.
Wow.
Oh no, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's.
But
just,
I'd say in school,
it's
at
hypocritical.
least
That's
in
the worst
school,
part. It's very hypocritical.
In
Like,
school, I mean,
I like that word, hypocritical.
in
Sixth
school,
level of
there's I feel that there is a code of conduct that you follow in school.
Yeah.
Right? There is a certain norm. This is how it is. That's why you wear uniforms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, you could have not been wearing uniforms.
Yeah.
That's the way our schools have been functioning. Maybe our entire schooling has to change in that, for that matter, to accept somebody smoking, drinking, or kissing.
Yeah.
Hey, but I
I'm
don't
saying
like the
it's-
fact that we're then again equating sex with
Drinking and
drinking,
smoking.
smoking,
Yeah,
and
so-
No, I'm not
So-
saying that. I'm saying
No, I'm
any
not
sort
saying
of
you're
an
saying
activity which 18-year-olds are, according to our standard of law and whatever, the school has to follow a certain code of conduct.
yeah, of
It's
course,
simple.
of course,
Yeah.
of course.
I'm not saying that. That has to change also. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that should not change.
Yeah.
I'm saying even that has to change. But
Yeah.
that is why these things are happening.
Yeah.
It is absolutely wrong to have not suspended somebody who's smoking in the school
Yeah.
if they are suspending somebody for just kissing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is absolutely wrong.
Yeah,
That
I don't
makes no
see any
sense.
point of
But like
suspending
not
someone
not
for-
only talk about
for
kissing, even
I
like
don't-
holding hands.
No,
I don't
that-
think there's any school not school, but any place in the world where holding hands is a.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, there are places, but
Yeah.
that's a different topic.
Yeah, that's a different topic
Yeah,
altogether.
just for another time.
Yeah, but yeah, this needs to change as soon as possible, because I had thought that in the 15 years that it's been since
Yeah.
I left school,
Lot of
things
Maybe-
would have changed.
maybe
Things
things
would have
have
changed. Yes.
but it doesn't seem so.
Because you also mentioned that kids are having sex much earlier now.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
they do, and they don't use protection even though they do know they are supposed to.
Yeah.
They
I
just
mean, is it?
resist
Would it be something that they don't want to go to the store and?
Yeah,
buy
maybe
it
that can be a
themselves?
reason.
I mean, it's their personal choice, but
Yeah.
whatever be the case, it needs to change.
Yeah. If anybody is listening who is ashamed to go to the store and buy it, you can buy it on Amazon.
Yeah.
They'll send it to your home.
In a
You
black
don't have to be
box. In
ashamed
a
of
black
it.
box.
And if
Yeah,
you're going to a
exactly.
store to buy it, it's not called something else like a thela, topi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a condom, guys.
That's a condom.
And I think
Just say it's
Just
a
say
condom.
it.
most people will appreciate it if
Yeah.
you've bought a
Yeah.
condom. No
Shop-
one's gonna
yeah.
stare. Shopkeeper will
I
be
mean,
very
you
happy.
won't meet
Chalo,
the
okay,
shopkeeper
at least.
again.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter even if you
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
Even if it's a regular. How
Yeah.
does it matter? man? It
You
shouldn't
just
matter. That's
smirk
what
at
we're
him.
trying to
I'm
Yeah.
getting it, bro.
Yeah. If he gives you
I'm
a
sorry for you,
smile, then
you-
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a high probability the shopkeeper has 6 children at home.
Yeah. And now he's thinking I'm so useless. So chalo, ye to kuch kar raha hai.
चलो हम नहीं तो तुम सही. Right.
I mean,
But anyway,
imagine.
there
Yeah.
shouldn't be any qualms about
Going and buying protection,
yeah.
Yes.
especially for
even
this.
even the girls.
Yeah.
Even the girls, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
if you think if you're thinking about getting on some pills, you need to get to a gynae
Yeah.
and consult before popping and anything.
That's. I
Because-
think that should not happen. Yeah. We don't know. That's
Yeah, this
Sometimes
is coming
it
from a
needs
woman,
to-
so I'll trust her
needs
opinion
to
on this.
happen.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and also
Cure
there's that eye.
if they want to go on the pill,
there's
it's
also
their choice.
there's
yeah.
also an eye pill
Yeah,
which can be taken within 72 hours.
yeah,
And that can, in case you have a doubt, but that also it has very, very adverse effects. It can ruin your menstrual cycle. It'll come before it's expected,
Yeah.
and it can give you a lot of pain. It can give you severe bleeding. So you can't just take
Why
a risk
opt
like
for
that.
cure when you
And
can opt for
you're
precaution?
basically ruining your natural body process.
Body cycle,
So
yeah.
instead, get smart, get to a doc, or just use condoms or something.
yeah.
That's,
No,
there
no,
are
no,
female
that's great
condoms
information.
Also.
Yeah.
There are female condoms.
Yeah.
Which females
Yeah.
can also
Apparently, the male, pills for males also. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Maybe.
I
use.
don't
Well,
know.
I have no idea about that.
Yeah, even I-
But anyway,
Never
yeah,
heard.
be smart. Talk to elders. Talk to a
Yeah.
close friend. Talk to elder siblings.
Yeah.
You know.
And have questions. Don't be afraid of having
Yeah.
questions, because it's very important.
Yeah.
It's one of the most basic life processes that we have. And the clearer you are about it, the better it is.
Or ask Google, auntie.
No, that's
No,
Google
we're,
will only give you
we're,
answers
We're
to a-
real life talking, walking human beings. You
Yeah.
can ask us,
Exactly.
and we'd love to keep you anonymous.
Yeah.
So
Yes. We won't let
there's no
Yeah.
judgment. There's absolutely. If you have any questions,
Yeah.
post it to us. We'd be more than happy to
we'll
respond.
answer it privately or
Yeah,
loud
yeah,
if you
yeah.
like, whichever
Yeah.
way works for you.
Anything and everything. We're always open to these things.
But-
So, yeah, please go
Sorry,
ahead.
being the next generation, don't make it a taboo.
Yeah, don't make it a taboo.
Don't make
Talk
it-
about
talk
it.
about
Don't
it.
don't
Be
let
clear
it be
about it.
just the way it
Yeah.
has been all this while.
Yeah.
Change this situation. Start talking about this and
Yeah.
make the difference. You guys can do this.
Yeah.
You should do this.
Definitely.
And don't make the next to next generation larger than this
The-
current
yeah,
I
generation.
the current
agree, man. I second that.
Yeah, practice discretion, guys.
Yes.
Practice discretion.
Please.
So yeah, if there's anything that you agree or disagree with in whatever we have said in this podcast, please get in touch with us. Send us comments. Write to
Trash
us.
us,
Trash us if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
like.
criticize us.
We'd
Hate
like to
us.
know if that is the major
Love
sentiment
us if you
around
can.
this. Yeah,
That would be nice.
and that will be nice also to know
That's
if
okay.
that
Don't love
is
us
the
too
major
much. We don't want so much love.
sentiment. Yeah, but do let us know. Your opinion matters to us, and yeah, thank you for listening.
And finally, get your A game on.
Yeah, get
Yes.
your A game on.
Yeah.
All right,
Sure.
see you guys
Until next
Okay.
time.
Next
See you.
time. Next
Bye,
time.
Bye. Bye.